It's 8 p.m. in Banjul, and from our studios on MDI Road, this is the news. First, the headlines. President Jammeh commissions a new fleet of state-of-the-art fire and crash tender, expected to bolster Gambia Fire and Rescue Services' ability to combat infernos. National Assembly Speaker Honorable Abdullahi Bojang inaugurates a multi-million dollar health and health-related projects in commemoration of the 21st anniversary of the July 22nd revolution. The Jammeh Administration and Islamic Development Bank part with a staggering $10 million to expand Bakau Health Center. Badly needed aid starts trickling in to flood-hit Myanmar, where at least 47 people died during weeks of heavy rain. And aviation investigators in France conduct tests and other investigations to ascertain whether the second piece of debris that washed up on Reunion Island is indeed part of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. This and other stories coming ahead this half hour. I am Alhaj Abubakar Dabo. Thank you for joining us. Ibrahim Acham, Director General GAMWorks, has sent a goodwill message to the President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh Babili Mansa, and the text reads, as the Gambia joins the rest of the Islamic Ummah to celebrate the holy feast of Eid al-Fitr, I am honored to extend on behalf of the board, management and staff of GAMWorks and on my own behalf, best wishes to Your Excellency, the President Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh Babili Mansa, your family, the government and the entire Muslim Ummah, a blessed and happy quality. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our fast, our goodwill prayers and supplications, and continue to bestow His infinite blessings, protection and guidance on Your Excellency the President, your family, and the entire Gambian populace. May Allah provide His Excellency and government continued vision and good health to lead the Gambia forward for greater peace, progress and prosperity. Amin. Please accept, sir, the renewed assurances of my highest consideration and esteem. It concludes. The President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh Babili Mansa, has commissioned a new fleet of fire and crash tenders as part of celebrations marking the 21st anniversary of the July 22nd revolution. The state-of-the-art equipment, which includes 2 strikers, a 75-foot ladder, and 5 vehicles, were personally procured by the Gambian leader from the United States for Banjul International Airport and Gambia Fire and Rescue Services to strengthen their firefighting capacity and capabilities. Details will come in the news at 10. The Speaker of the National Assembly and a high-powered delegation that comprised cabinet ministers and head of government departments traveled to the south and northern parts of the Central River region over the weekend to grace the commissioning of a string of development projects, the newly built school, dormitory and library at the School of Enrolled Nurses in Bansang, as well as the newly renovated and upgraded health facility in Kaur, were inaugurated in commemoration of the 21st anniversary of the glorious July 22nd revolution. Samuel Ba reports.
Commissioning of lofty projects continue to trail all sectors of national development as the country celebrates 21 years of July 22nd revolution. In the CRR settlement of Bansang, which hosts the country's second referral hospital, a library and dormitories have been commissioned. The Provincial Nursing School now boasts of a new library and decent accommodation facilities. Local authorities hailed the joint project funded by the Islamic Development Bank and the government of the Gambia. According to them, with Professor Jammeh, the country will continue to make greater progress.
From 1994 to 2015, the devotion, the dedication, the sympathy the Gambia government has for its people, today we are seeing another story building that since 1936 up to date, this is the 4th story building built by the government of the Gambia.
The basic objective of constructing such a structure is to create an enabling environment for students to acquire the required knowledge and skills, live healthy, create lives, and to deliver the most needed standard of health care services to the populace when they graduate.
Since its establishment, the Saint School in Bansang has continued to make great progress, and the expansion of the growing Healthcare Training Institute could only herald more progress.
Nurses and midwives are the backbone of the Ministry of Health. Hence, building their capacities has been the priority of his ministry and by extension that of the Ministry of Health, Social Welfare, and everyone that works therein.
In his inaugural address, the Speaker of the National Assembly spoke in glowing terms about the decentralization of health services and the progress made by Gambia government over the years. Honorable Bojang stressed the need to sustain those gains.
Human resources for health are the most valuable resources available to the health sector. Therefore, the upgrading of this school is in a step rightly directed by the government to ensure that there is sufficient well-trained junior level nurses in our health system.
Kaur in Lower Saloum was our next stop. It is one of the 11 sites of the Gambia government health expansion program. The health facility here has been exhaustively renovated and upgraded. Here, the Alcalo of Kaur and the Chief of Lower Saloum, among other speakers, thanked Professor Jame and recognized all the developments associated with the revolution, while Governor Omar Khan also called on his people to return gratitude to Professor Jame.
We are gathered here again to add to the gains of the July 22nd revolution, and that is in connection with the inauguration for the upgrading, refurbishment and extension of Kaur Health Center, which involves the construction of staff quarters so that the staff can concentrate not on accommodation but on the welfare of the patients. The extension also involves the provision of a lab for tuberculosis so that one can diagnose and detect the disease so that one can be treated very early. The extension and refurbishment of this health center, Honorable Speaker, also provided the provision of a meeting room for the staff.
Honorable Abdullah Bojang also called for the sustenance of the gains made by the Health Ministry. He noted that the extension and improvement of the health facility could lead to improved health service delivery and decongestion of referral centers. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
Bakau Health Center has also been given a new lease of life thanks to the collaborative efforts of the government of the Gambia and Islamic Development Bank. The new look health delivery facility has now been officially commissioned after a $10 million renovation. Fadajan Mbai reports.
The Bakau Health Center, crucial to the attainment of health-related Millennium Development Goals, recently received a new facelift. The over $10 million project is part of the Gambia government's ongoing expansion project to provide affordable and accessible healthcare delivery in the country.
Universal access to health is the primary goal of the government, enshrined in the National Health Policy 2012 to 2016. The health facilities expansion project was initiated by the government to improve on the access and quality of services for the population by expanding and upgrading some health facilities in strategic locations and building new other ones.
The development came hard in the heels of the 21st anniversary of the 22nd July Revolution, a revolution that since the very outset promised accessible, quality and affordable health care to the citizenry. The $10.6 million facility is here to cater for the health needs of the people of Bakau and beyond. Momodu Jaite, the Deputy Mayor of Kanifing Municipality, commended the government for placing high priority on health, said the facility has and would continue to be a blessing to Gambians and those residing on the Smiling Coast. Gumworks was the contractor for the job. Ibrahim Acham, the company's Director General, thanked the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare for having the trust and confidence in his institution by awarding them the contract which he said was completed within the stipulated time frame. The Minister of Health and Social Welfare stated that the health facility was initiated by government to improve quality healthcare delivery in the country. ORC lauded the management and staff of his ministry for their steadfastness in promoting healthcare in the country.
It is my singular honor and pleasure. Thanks on the inauguration of this, which is aimed at responding positively in healthcare services for better health.
The jointly funded, expanded and refurbished health facility by the government of the Gambia and the Islamic Development Bank will in no small measure help in the promotion of healthcare delivery in the country by offering quality and affordable services to its patients. Fatou Janembai reporting for GRTS News.
The heavens have started opening up, renewing hopes of a bumper harvest. Those hopes are more alive in Sika North Bank region, where volunteers are helping Kanilai family farms clear a new 200-hectare field. Jadis Bajan saw the volunteers in action, and this is his report.
After cultivating a good chunk of the 200 hectare which is henceforth planted with groundnut, weeding, clearing and other farm activities are in continuity in one of President Jammeh's largest farms in the region. Its custodian, Captain Salifu Kor, dilated on the activity. The day's farm work was embraced by volunteers from satellite villages, among them Malik Sar of Fas Chaho, having hailed His Excellency President Jammeh's stance on the development of agriculture, called on all and sundry to be behind the Gambian leader's noble agricultural cause. What we are farming is without doubt not for him, and if we are honest with ourselves, we have no room for relaxation concerning our contribution in agriculture, as it is for our own betterment, he continued. Like several others, the community's VDC chairman Malamin Jane and the son of Sikas Alcalo Pa Omar Sonko equally reiterated the significance of not only rallying behind President Jammeh's agricultural endeavor for the achievement of Vision 2016. The duo equally called for other communities to emulate Sika in its massive response to His Excellency's agricultural initiatives. For the Councillor of the Ward, Ami Job, the Gambian leader has no boundaries in the development of the country, and this has impressed her to rally around his development agenda, despite being on the other side of the political divide.
Yaya Jammeh nak ñun jigéen ñi bàyyiwuñu gannaaw kon su fekkee am na ay toolam yi nga xam ne
President Jammeh has uplifted Gambians and women in particular, and even if I am not invited to participate in his farm and other development activities, I will pursue it, she carried on. Praises for the man who is perhaps behind the success story of President Jammeh's Northbound farms stole the day's show, as Captain Salifu Kor's rigidity in ensuring success in the region's Kanilai farms was hailed by several speakers, including the Alcalo of Sika Alhaji Srifo Sonko and Alhaji Ndembo Boto Sonko. This is perhaps the beginning of an extraordinary encounter, and the soldier-cum-farmer told GRTS more of the unfolding engagement. At a time when every hectare matters in the actualization of Vision 2016, activities by the likes of Sika's 200-hectare farm is a sure way of mitigating the requirements of the Gambian leaders' agricultural and farming revolution. Modu Bajan, GRTS.
Personnel of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and other stakeholders based within and without the country are meeting to identify measures capable of ensuring a result-based strategy for the education sector. Luimene reports on the joint donor review and supervision mission underway at the Region 1 Education Directorate in Kanifing.
The 2015 Joint Donor Review and Supervision Mission is underway in Banjul. The Assembly of Education Authorities and Stakeholders, notably the World Bank and UNICEF, as external and in-country donors, is looking at development that have taken shape in the country's education sector in the past 6 months.
This one provides us with, an external, view from those coming from outside. So I want to welcome you.
Delegates at this convergence are also discussing the challenges in the implementation of education programs and projects at the period, so as to prepare a roadmap for a more result-based future, despite the fact that the Gambia at this period has a lot to celebrate in the realization of education-related MDGs.
For the first time in the history of education in the Gambia, the gross enrollment ratio at the level of ECD has reached 45%, meaning that out of every 100 children of early childhood going age, 45 of them are enrolled in ECD, and we will do more as the PS has promised. Gross enrollment ratio at the lower basic has also surpassed 100% for the first time. For the first time too, children attending both lower and upper basic public schools are doing so without having to worry about fees or unnecessary levies. And in September this year, the same will go for the public secondary schools.
Could the accomplishment be the motivating factor for the World Bank continuous support? The answer was yes.
For quality of education, MOPSI has been making great efforts also. They train teachers in various aspects. For example, national language and also early grade reading. They are integrated together and they are training teachers together in integrated early reading. So they are trying to improve quality of education because what matters is our children really learning. That's the best way to look at the education. Not just kids are in school, but they have to learn.
Working closely with MOPSI in Nation's March for Greatness in Education is the Ministry of Higher Education.
One example of high-level collaboration between the two ministries is the ongoing work on the new Tibet strategy, which is reflected in the proposed or the model, which provides the opportunity for students to pursue Tibet from basic to doctorate levels, amongst others, in parallel with the academic programs. The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology is poised to work with key stakeholders and development partners in the development and implementation of this new all-inclusive Tibet strategy. With the availability of funds, this strategy will address all the bottlenecks and inadequacies in the Tibet system.
Among those invited to participate in the consultative forum are students. Mrs. Nyanti, the UNICEF country rep, who also doubles as the chair of the education local group, said the picture is a manifestation of the education ministry's seriousness in the matters of education and a show of readiness to hold themselves accountable for education.
For all of us as stakeholders in this business, I think we should be very happy that we're embarking on this venture with the approach of participation. Participation of all of those who have a role to play as duty bearers, and participation of all of those who have a right to be fulfilled, the rights holders and the beneficiaries. So I'm very grateful as UNICEF country representative to be a part of this process and to be here in partnership with you all.
The Joint Donor and Supervision Mission contributes to the nation's own fulfillment to the education goals and targets at an era when the world continues to grapple with unfinished priorities from the education MDGs as well as from the Education for All goals.
The Education for All Global Monitoring Report of 2013 indicated that about 57 million children are still out of school. And out of those 57 million children, about 31 million are girls. So although we've made gains, we still have so much more to do. About 49% of those 57 million children have never entered a schoolhouse before.
The Joint Donor Review comes every other 6 months. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
We'll now take our first break. The news continues right after.
The Gambia National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, the Gambia's best and leading provider of quality petrol and diesel oil of European standard for your vehicles. GNPC is Gambia's very owned company providing various services ranging from car wash, lube bay, and tire services. Walk into any GNPC branch and purchase quality and genuine products such as engine oil for diesel and petrol, blades, tires, spark plugs, radiator coolants, injector cleaners, and many more. Buy any of our products at any of our GNPC branches and get something changed for free. At GNPC, we also do bulk selling for clients with fuel tanks at their premises. Our branches are located at Fajara, Banjul, Bondung, Abuko, Brikama, Soma, Farafenye, Basse, and Bansang. In observance of the July 22nd anniversary celebrations, GNPC is pleased to announce a discount of $1 on each liter of petrol or gas oil purchased effective Tuesday, 21st July 2015 for a period of 30 days. For more information, visit our website on www.gnpc.gm. GNPC, Nyokomom.
Welcome back. International aid is starting to arrive in Myanmar after weeks and months of heavy rains and widespread flooding. CNN's Anna Karen has more on that.
Anger is growing for the families of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370, demanding this meeting with Chinese transport officials. You just say whatever you want, she says. More than 500 days on, they're tired of crying, tired of waiting. Waiting that's not over, even if debris suspected to be from the missing plane offers new clues.
Just that it is from MH370, but it doesn't mean anything more. You know, it still cannot help you to find the plane, and it still cannot help you find the truth about what happens and why.
Steve Wang hasn't spoken his mother's name since the day she and 238 others disappeared. Wang keeps her photo private, along with her last message asking him to bring her coat to the airport.
Do you still listen to the voicemail she left you?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
When did you listen to it last?
At Wednesday evening.
Well, we apologize for bringing that wrong story. However, officials are yet to confirm whether the debris found on Reunion Island comes from Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, which vanished nearly 17 months ago. The disappearance of MH370 is the aviation industry's greatest mystery. For the families of those that were on board, it's been an agonizing wait. For more on that, we joined CNN.
Anger is growing for the families of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370, demanding this meeting with Chinese transport officials. You just say whatever you want, she says. More than 500 days on, they're tired of crying, tired of waiting. Waiting that's not over, even if debris suspected to be from the missing plane offers new clues.
Just that it is from MH370, but it doesn't mean anything more. You know, it still cannot help you to find the plane, and it still cannot help you find the truth about what happens and why.
Steve Wang hasn't spoken his mother's name since the day she and 238 others disappeared. Wang keeps her photo private, along with her last message asking him to bring her coat to the airport.
Do you still listen to the voicemail she left you?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
When did you listen to it last?
At Wednesday evening.
You listened to it on Wednesday when you heard about the debris?
Yeah.
New evidence washing ashore on Reunion Island forces families to face a new wave of agony. I feel so sorry for my two grandsons. What have they done wrong? Asked Zhang Meiling. China's one-child policy allowed Zhang and her husband just one daughter, who was flying home with their only son-in-law. Not a minute has passed without me thinking of them, she says. Zhang says she once tried getting information at the Malaysian Airlines office. Police detained her for 8 hours. More than 150 Chinese were on MH370. China's Communist Party discourages families from gathering and protesting, as they did after the plane vanished. The assistance center in Beijing closed.
What do you need?
The truth.
Wang says the discovery of suspected MH370 debris doesn't bring closure.
I think the only closure will come at the time when they find the plane and find everybody and find the truth.
His biggest fear? The search will slow, the spotlight will fade, and the families of 239 people will be left as they are today, still waiting. Will Ripley, CNN, Beijing.
We'll now take our second break.
Sea level is one of the major environmental challenges facing developing countries, such as the countries about what will happen. and how certain cities will disappear if something is not done to avert a major environmental problem. So be aware of climate change.
Banjul, Gambia. This West African city is nestled up beside the Atlantic Ocean and faces the threat of rising sea levels. On top of that is the possibility of coastline erosion, which increases the chance that the city will submerge underwater. Even worse is the prospect that the rise in sea levels could disrupt the city's rice production, which is a vital part of their economy.
Let's take a quick look at the weather report, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
It starts here. That simple promise of a harvest after planting is nature's service to the community that you and I are a part of. We carry on bonding and sharing because the feeling to serve is mutual. But that promise between us, the sun and the land, is what gives us the hope to carry on. And as it was in the beginning, we started with a belief to serve. Elton, a new vision of service.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to our weather forecast. It has been variable cloudy with rain affecting some parts of the country. Rainfall figures recorded at 06 in the morning, 16.9 millimeters for Janjambure, Sapo 15 millimeters, 6.8 millimeters recorded over Sibano, Banjul recording 5 millimeters, 2.9 millimeters was recorded over Yundum, whilst Basse recorded 1.6 millimeters, Caravan and Kabu recording 3. Satellite picture indicates convective activities over parts of Gulf of Guinea states, likewise over parts of Central Africa. These activities will lead to rain and thunderstorm over the affected areas. For tonight's forecast, the weather is expected to be variable cloudy with scattered rain affecting places. Whilst for the day tomorrow, the weather will remain to be variable cloudy accompanied with light to moderate rain in the afternoon. Surface winds will be northwesterlies in orientation with a speed of 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Morning temperatures will either be 24 or 25 degrees Celsius across the country, whilst afternoon temperatures will be 30 or 31 degrees Celsius across the country, except for Central River, which will experience a temperature of 32 degrees Celsius. Low tides will be 0.2 meter at 6 a.m. and also at 7 p.m., while high tides will be 1.7 meters at 12 a.m. and 1.9 meters at 1 p.m. Waves will be about 0 to 1 meter high, northwesterly swells. The sun will rise at 6:47 in the morning and will set at 19:36. We thank you for watching and have a wonderful evening.
A reminder of our headline making stories once again. President Jammeh